Hello and welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on the different facets of motoring. Now on its 34th year, this is Motoring Today. I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for. On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss how LRMC is overcoming the challenges faced by rail service operators brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our road safety reminder on the Young Street Smarts portion centers on the proper way to cross a street after alighting from a vehicle. This week's Spying Chaper shall be about the importance of following the rule on the yellow box. The public service segment centers on the filthy PNR rail line as claimed by concerned citizens. Showcase this week shall have a subcompact sedan from Toyota, the Vios 1.5G CVT. While for race weekend, we'll look back at the third round of the 2020 Philippine Autocross Championship Series.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are in this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. The COVID-19 pandemic didn't stop the NLEX Corporation from completing the expansion of the Subic-Freeport Expressway. It is now fully open to motorists, truckers, and cargo haulers.
Motorists, truckers, and cargo haulers are now enjoying the newly expanded Subic-Freeport Expressway, or SFX. From just a single two-way carriageway, the SFX is now a double carriageway with dedicated lanes in each direction. The 1.6 billion peso expansion program saw the construction of 16.4 kilometers of new lanes, plus the construction of two new bridges at Jadjad and Argonaut, as well as two new tunnels. NLEX also reports that as part of the expansion project, LED lights meeting international standards were installed all along the SFX, while the elevation was raised and the drainage was improved at the Maritan Highway Rizal Highway Tipo Road Junction. During the ceremonial drive-through marking the formal opening of expanded segments of the SFX to motorists, NLEX Corporation President Luigi Bautista said that work on the SFX expansion continued despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the stringent health protocols. This was done to continue to provide jobs and to support livelihoods of people during the pandemic, said Bautista, adding that it was also NLEX Corporation's way of helping Filipinos manage the economic impact of the health crisis. According to national government and Subic-Freeport officials at the ceremonial drive-through, the new expressway expansion will help spur investments and boost tourism in the Subic-Freeport, benefiting thousands of locators and other business owners.
Perhaps it's serendipity, but tollway construction and other build infrastructure projects are seen to help provide jobs and prop up the economy during the pandemic. Meanwhile, most of the time, the House summons officials of the executive department to take them to task for some controversy or failing. Not this time.
At a recent meeting held by members of the House leadership and top officials of the DOTR, the latter was lauded for initiatives undertaken as the country continues working to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. In particular, Majority Floor Leader Ferdinand Martin Romualdez thanked the DOTR for its tireless efforts in developing efficient and reliable transport networks and services despite the restrictions brought by the pandemic. Congressman Romualdez also cited the DOTR's tenacity for hard work, which has contributed greatly in helping leaders of government realize the mission of President Duterte's administration to provide comfortable and improved lives for all Filipinos.
The DOTR needs more than compliments from the House. Projects and programs need funding. The DOTR should be hoping the compliments turn to more solid support for its projects. Continuing, Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade has this grand vision of modernizing and strengthening the nation's mass transport system with everything connected seamlessly. This holds true to all its 4 sectors.
Department of Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade has not only been working to put in place long-term plans to improve the land transport system, he has also been strengthening the aviation and the maritime sectors. During a meeting as part of the Rating and Investment Information or RNI Annual Rating Review, Secretary Tugade reported gains, developments, and plans for the entire transport network. Also at the meeting with RNI lead analyst Kenji Sekiguchi were DPWH Secretary Mark Villar and Bases Conversion and Development Authority President and CEO Vince Dizon, as well as representatives from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The meeting discussed stages of various infrastructure projects and their implications on the Philippine economy, both in the recovery phase and in laying the foundation for the country's future economic growth. Secretary Tugade provided status of various rail transport infrastructure projects. These included the Metro Manila Subway Project, MRT-3 Rehabilitation Project, PNR Clark Phase 1 and Phase 2, PNR Bicol, Subic Clark Railway Project, LRT-2 East Extension Project, and the Mindanao Railway Project, among others. Meanwhile, for the road transport sector, the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, EDSA Greenways Project, Cebu Bus Rapid Transit System, and Davao Public Transport Modernization Project were also presented by the Transportation Secretary. He indicated that all projects and programs being undertaken to strengthen the nation's mass transport system are holistic in approach. He added the massive effort to improve mobility and connectivity all over the Philippines. In the maritime, aviation, road, and rail sectors would continue even after the COVID-19 pandemic has been overcome.
The government should now be hoping that the country retains or improves its credit rating after RNI's evaluation. Finally, the good news is that San Miguel Corporation reports RFID use at its tollways is now at 85%. The bad news is that the 15% still paying toll with cash is causing some congestion. Even worse news is that the Toll Regulatory Board is drafting guidelines for implementing a 3-strike policy for RFID users with insufficient load using cashless toll lanes.
San Miguel Corporation or SMC, operator of the Star Tollway, SLEX, the Skyway system, the NAE Expressway, and the T-Plex reports that around 85% of vehicles at its toll plaza now use RFIDs. This has significantly improved the flow of traffic, SMC said, while attributing the increased auto-sweep utilization to easier and more convenient sticker installation at more than 160 sites. There are different reloading stations for motorist convenience. Online and self-service reloading are also available. However, SMC said that it was ready to implement the plan of the Toll Regulatory Board to impose a 3-strike policy against RFID users who come upon cashless lanes with insufficient funds in their accounts. It is only awaiting the release of implementing rules and regulations for implementing the said policy aimed at eliminating disruption at the toll lanes and minimizing inconvenience for compliant RFID users.
Motorists are learning the benefits of using RFIDs after authorities made it mandatory for using tollways. And as tollway operators improve their systems with an eye out for interoperability, more and more would begin to use RFIDs. And those are the latest news and developments in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. The Light Rail Manila Corporation, operator and concessionaire of the Light Rail Transit Line 1 or LRT1 and the LRT Cavite Extension, like everyone else, was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. How it met the challenges and updates on the progress of the extension are the subject of this week's Motoring Forum.
The Light Rail Manila Corporation, or LRMC, won the bid to rehabilitate, operate, and maintain the Light Rail Transit Line 1, or LRT1, and more importantly, the LRT1 Cavite Extension Project in 2015. LRMC took over the LRT1 in 2016, but work on extending the line to Bacoor, Cavite only started in 2019, when authorities finally began resolving right-of-way issues along the route. Before that, the LRMC had been working to rehabilitate and modernize the LRT1, phasing in the switch to new train signaling system and ordering new trains from a manufacturer based in Spain. All these came to a halt in March of 2020 when government started imposing community quarantine protocols and restrictions, which included the suspension of all forms of land transport, including the light rail transit systems. How did the lockdown affect the LRT1 and work on the LRT1 extension to Cavite? Motoring Today visit LRMC President and CEO Juan Alfonso via Zoom to ask the question.
It was challenging for us because when we have no operations, then there's no revenue for the company. And our company still makes majority of its revenue from providing service to our passengers and charging for each ticket or each ride.
Like everyone else, LRMC had to wait for restrictions to ease and public transport allowed to resume operations. It soon became evident that as the COVID-19 contagion continued to spread and would not likely disappear soon, the economy needed to be restarted, and along with this, public transport needed to resume. Trains were allowed to resume operations in June when Metro Manila was placed under general community quarantine restrictions, but this was under strict guidelines meant to maintain social distancing on board trains and at the station.
The second challenge would be having limited capacity. We were only loading about 12-13% of our passengers at this time because of really regulation from government.
So how did the LRMC meet this challenge? The LMRC knew it needed to convince authorities, the IATF, the DOTR, and DOH, that train operations can be safe with proper protocols in place. The LMRC decided to look at how train operators in Europe and other countries continue to operate even amidst the pandemic.
First, most of the rail lines did not have any reduction in capacity for loading the trains. No, so that was an important benchmark. Second is, why is it safe inside the train? I think with this pandemic, we're realizing more and more that ventilation and the free flow of air is critical. No? The train doors open every 2 minutes, so there's a fresh air exchange. The air conditioning system uses about 20 to 30% of fresh air. Also, we added HEPA filters in the air condition, similar to what we have in the aircraft. So this cleaned the air further. No?
To further convince the IATF that LRT1 operations can be safe, LRMC undertook measures to sanitize trains and stations and minimize contact with and among riders. These included using UV technology to disinfect trains and sanitize stations at regular and frequent intervals, temperature checks of passengers before entering stations, the use of cashless payment systems. Late in 2020, the LRT1 began to see an increase in ridership, but still way below pre-COVID-19 volumes.
We still have about 30% of our riders from the normal times, so it's still a big drop. It's a 70% drop from where it was. And it's challenging because our business is basically high operating costs of this equipment. So we've tried to maintain the system and still keep it safe despite the challenges and despite the additional costs of operating safely. No?
It was only natural that the COVID-19 pandemic affected timetables for the arrival of the new trains, so the new trains ordered prior to the pandemic began to arrive.
We're getting 30 train sets. Each train is composed of 4 cars. That's why it's 120 rail cars in total. So each one is now already PWD friendly and then also installed with the latest signaling system, which will allow us for safer travel and safer journey.
After being given the go-ahead by the IATF, the LRMC resumed work on completing the train signal systems for the LRT1, as well as work on the Cavite Extension project.
We just completed an 11 billion peso program to resignal, to change the signaling system. So it's going to be a brand new signaling system that will allow for shorter headways or gaps between trains. And something to look forward to and something that's exciting. So our target for switching over to the new signaling system, which will allow us to use the new trains, is about the third quarter of 2021. No?
Work on the LRT-1 extension to Cavite was put on the fast track as the LRMC contractors learn to deal with construction in COVID-19 conditions.
We're at about 50% completed. A lot of it is just the civil works. No, we haven't started anything other than the civil works. After that, the tracks and electric systems will be put in place after the civil structures are finished.
The LRMC expects the whole of 2021 to be a year of recovery. Ridership on trains is seen to increase once government rolls out the anti-COVID-19 vaccination program and quarantine restrictions are further eased.
We see this year as really a year where the recovery starts, and we're hopeful that at least the business environment will normalize by next year. No? Hopefully sooner than later in 2022. But it is a challenge, and I think we're working closely with our partners in government to communicate what are these pain points and how we can possibly address them. And also in terms of the public messaging, so that they feel that they're being looked after. Even in these challenging situations, their journey and their health remains safe with us.
The present administration has made it a priority to develop the rail sector as a major part of the country's mass transport system. It may be a reflection of this policy that LRMC seems encouraged to modernize, improve services and facilities, and now, under the COVID-19 pandemic, be safe against the spread of contagion. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
Seven-seater in style.
Montero Sport. Elevate your journey.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
You are back with us here on Motoring Today. In line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines.
When alighting a vehicle, do not cross the street right away dahil baka masagasaan ka ng paparating na sasakyan. Mas safe kung pupunta ka muna sa gilid ng kalsada, look left at right, at saka tumawid kung safe na.
Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. From Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, here is Payong Chuper this week.
Payong Chuper lang, kaibigan. Ako si Alan, isang kapwa nyo Chuper. Ito'y isang paalala na huwag huminto sa loob ng yellow box.
Ang mga yellow box na matatagpuan sa intersections ay dapat palaging bakante kahit pa naka-green ang traffic light. Kapag nakahinto ang kabilang bandang intersection, mas mabuting maghintay ng tamang pagkakataon bago lumampas sa yellow box.
Tandaan, sumunod sa yellow box rule upang maging maayos ang ating takbo sa kalsada. Ito po si Jose Alan Mendoza, payong tsuper lang kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa nyo tsuper.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Your city is about to change. Are you ready? Ready to rise? Ready to rock? Ready to go? Ready for more? Ready to rule the city. The all-new Honda City. Ready to rule.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. I will now give you Race Weekend. A new venue drew in a good turnout for round 2 of the 2020 Philippine Autocross Championship Series. Among the entries are former autocross stars making a surprise return to the sport. Let's look back at the highlights and interviews of the 2020 PAX Round 2. We are back after a long layoff here in Robinson Santa Rosa for the third round of the 2020 Philippine Autocross Championship Series as we officially kick off the hot weather season. It was a hot Sunday, March 8, when the third round of the 2020 PAX was run at the sprawling parking area of the Robinson Santa Rosa. It was, as all PAX race weekends have been for a number of years, a well-attended affair. Underneath a line of tents were cars being prepped for timed runs around twin autocross tracks laid out on a hot paved surface. Over at a designated start lines queued drivers and cars called to be flagged off. The challenge is to go fast around the course, outlined by pylons and markers, with short straights, tight chicanes, 180-degree turns, without hitting pylons and going off the course. It was a hectic and busy day for organizers to get all the entries in many class championships, based on car make and type and levels of modification to complete their runs and set official times. And the third round was particularly heavy with entries. There were the contenders vying for overall and class championships. There were the weekend racers looking to sate their appetite for speed. Many were first-timers to the sport, lured by the promise of excitement and thrill of organized motorsports. Boys and girls alike, like Ethan Paredes.
I found out about PAX from my uncle, and he said he wanted me to try it because he said I like cars. He said I should try racing.
And how did Ethan find his first ever try in autocross racing, and will he continue to do so?
I had only run 1 out of 4. I have 3 more categories to run. To practice my skills and possibly try to to get better in racing.
And what about his ultimate goal in motorsport?
My new idol is Ronald and got fastest lap while ago, which is my age, and I really aspire to be him someday.
Also newcomers to Autocross at the third round were Kirsten Sanchez and Dorothea Legaspi. Kirsten was drawn to Autocross by her father, from whom she got tips on how to tackle the course, and from PAC's main man, Danny Santiago himself as well.
Yung first, ang inano po sa akin ni Sir Danny, yung late braking po. Tapos yung sa dad ko naman po, sa pylon po na mas malapit po na.
Kirsten's first runs were, as expected, not quite to her liking, but she expects to improve, especially with plans to participate in racing clinics.
Hindi pa po siya masyadong maganda kasi first time pa po, pero nag-expect po ako na improvement. Sasali po ako ng mga clinics para po mag-improve yung performance.
Meanwhile, Dorothea was also drawn to Autocross by her father, as well as friends who are into motorsports, who shared one race car in the round. She also got tips on how to take the cars from her dad.
Actually, I didn't have any preparations. This is actually my first time seeing this car and driving this car. I got tips from his father, and the guy who owns this car told me about how to take the turns as well, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Dorothea rode shotgun on board with Radsmir Salazar, whose father raced with Danny Santiago in earlier times. Radsmir was a downhill bike racer who now finds racing in four-wheel vehicles more enjoyable, even while using an unfamiliar car.
I found car racing a little bit enjoyable than, because I used to race downhill bikes back in the day, but car racing is more enjoyable. I have my first run earlier, didn't go well. This is the first time I raced this car. I found the car a little bit loose because we didn't have a time to tune it properly.
The third round of the 2020 Philippine Autocross Championship Series also saw local motorsports legend Mike Potenciano participating as guest driver for the Mark Young Racing Team. The team also has defending 2019 PAX champion Inigo Anton.
So, this is a fast-paced league, no? And a lot of young racers. Give us your thoughts on your participation here in the 2020 Philippine Autocross Championship Series.
Well, like you said, it's very competitive. And we're very happy to note that Mark Young Racing Team has invited us over to race again. So first one was in R33 San Simon track. We got second overall in the overall class. And we got third place in the open division. So right now, Carlos and Inigo Anton are doing well. So we'll just be here to try and be a buffer between them and the other racers. So they missed the second leg. So they have to catch up in points. This is where we have to go in between the others.
When you say PAX, what do you look forward to? I mean, for you, how different is this compared to the racing leagues that you have participated in?
We've also done a lot of autocross, also slaloms before, and this is really good to get your feet wet. As you can see, any kind of car you can modify, you can keep it stock, and you can race them already. So hopefully you also have the what we call the best pakal. So the ultra modified cars with the very good drivers on it and very fast engines. And I think this is where you'll see also the best drivers running.
Even at 15 going on 16, Inigo Anton should already be mentioned among the ranks of the country's best drivers. And after missing the second round, Inigo returned to show that he indeed is a deserving champion. Still, the young Anton remains focused on defending his title in 2020 against a bevy of strong contenders.
It was like almost a month of no driving or no had a trip with my family, a vacation. So feels good to be back here again, once racing again. And I know there was a lot of pressure on me because in the second round I wasn't there and a lot of people like even Danby showed up. So I knew I had to be prepared for this round. And I just did my first two runs. I was able to get the best time. So I'm really happy that I'm back, yeah. Right now, there's really a lot of people. Of course, I'd say my greatest competitor is my dad right now. He's about to race, you know, he taught me everything. Our driving styles are the same, so it's gonna be an interesting fight. Also, Tito Mike Potenciano, my teammate also was a legend in Philippine racing, and he's here today also to try and fight against it. And also Ryan Ablang was also overall, I think, last time, so It's gonna be a very busy season. Hopefully that we can come in top at the end of the season.
Inigo was fastest overall in the third round of the 2020 PAX. His father Carlos was second, and second round winner Ryan Ablang was third. At the time, all indications pointed to a busy and hot summer for motorsports, and competitive year for overall and class championship in autocross and other motorsports disciplines. Alas, this was not to be, as before the month of March was over, the COVID-19 pandemic forced authorities to declare the enhanced community quarantine. Still, many are hopeful that the motorsports events will resume this year, even under social or physical distancing norms. The main man of PAX himself, Danny Santiago, said that autocross will surely return to the R33 drift track in San Simon, Pampanga, and many expect it will be the venue for other race disciplines. Let's all together find out and wait if 2021 would be that year.
Live extra
with the new Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motorings Day. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto industry.
Ford Philippines has rolled out a refreshed Ranger lineup with new exterior designs and features, as well as upgraded interior amenities aimed at buyers looking to live the Ranger life. The new Rangers sport different design elements and features distinguishing the variants from XLS to the XLT and the Wildtrak. But all present a bolder and tougher stance on the road while delivering on the promise of functionality and capability that meet diverse needs and lifestyle of the Ford Ranger owner. The refreshed Ranger comes in 13 variants to meet all possible budgets, wants, and needs of buyers, from the 1.062 million peso Ranger 2.2L XLS 4x2 manual to the 1.998 million peso Ranger 2-liter bi-turbo Raptor 4x4 automatic. PK Umashankar, President and Managing Director of Ford Philippines, says, "Our new Ford Ranger lineup will allow us to continue building on our leadership in the pickup segment in the country." Supporting the launch of the refreshed Ranger is the Live the Ranger Life brand campaign, focusing on who Ford targets as its buyers. According to Ford's new Live the Ranger Life philosophy, Ranger buyers live the following values. When meeting challenges, Ranger buyers go up and over instead of going around them. Ranger owners can't help but help people or communities in need. Those who drive Rangers seek their own paths in life, and where there isn't a path, carve one. Ranger owners want to share their success with others and to bring others along the journey. And Ranger owners enjoy life and love saying, "We make our own fun." Can an award-winning Isuzu dealership become even better? After winning the 2019 Dealer of the Year Award, or DOYA, and attaining Excellence in DOYA Sales Operations distinction 2 years running for 2018 and 2019, Isuzu Pasig has built a bigger facility with an added Isuzu Pasig Truck Center. The new Isuzu Pasig dealership and Isuzu Pasig Truck Center is now formally open following a simple ribbon-cutting ceremony attended by Isuzu Philippines Corporation President Hajime Koso, Executive Vice President Shojiro Sakoda, and Sales Division Head Joseph Bautista, AC Motors President Antonio Zara, and Isuzu Automotive Dealership Inc. Chief Operating Officer Alex Pagio, and Isuzu Pasig Operations Manager Eric Wambanco. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Koso said, "With our continuing goal to strengthen and widen the services of Isuzu to our valued customers, IPC is aggressively expanding our dealership network, and I am proud to say that the IADI was among those who took the initiative to construct a bigger and more modern facility that is complemented by a truck center." The Isuzu Pasig dealership and Isuzu Pasig Truck Center occupy a combined floor area of 5,000 square meters and boast a 5-vehicle display showroom. The dealership features 3 periodic maintenance service bays with lifters to accommodate light commercial vehicles, or LCVs, and light-duty trucks, while the truck center has 8 bays with lifters, 2 bays for trucks and a wheel alignment bay for LCVs, as well as 11 tinsmith prep bays and 2 paint booths for body repairs. The newly inaugurated dealership and truck center are located along E. Rodriguez Jr. Avenue at the corner of Calle Industria and Barangay Bagong Bayan in Quezon City. Toyota Motors Philippines has rolled out the newly updated Innova, which the Japanese brand automaker wants all to know is proudly assembled in Santa Rosa, Laguna. The latest makeover allows Toyota to say the Innova now looks sportier, more dynamic. And the updates for comfort, convenience, and connectivity allow Toyota to say they make the well-loved MPV safer, sportier, and even more capable to take on daily mobility needs, whether for practical use or for family leisure. The new Innova lineup has 6 variants, from the J manual priced at 1.186 million pesos to the top-of-the-line V automatic at 1.739 million pesos. The Innova V automatic of course gets all the latest gugaos and more of the good stuff, but all variants got all the things that matter, enough to say Toyota's signature quality, durability, and reliability, as well as great value, are found in every Innova unit. But Toyota did not lead with all the new details and specs, like the reliable 2.8-liter diesel engine and available drive modes, which are Eco and Power, or the easy ingress with push start and smart entry for the V variant, and ease of access for smartphone applications with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility for V, G, and E variants. Instead, the launch started with talk about creating new memories and sharing stories with the 2021 update of the best-selling multi-purpose vehicle, and about the Innova's rich heritage of being the preferred MPV of generations of Filipino families that started with the Tamaraw FX and then the Revo. Toyota is leveraging on its long-standing relationship with Filipinos, its leadership of the local auto industry, to continue to dominate the MPV and other segments of the auto industry. Reaching up to 240,000 proud Innova owners to date and catering to a wide range of needs and preferences of Filipino families and drivers, the Innova indeed raises the flag and symbolizes excellence in the local manufacturing industry, said Toyota Motor Philippines' first Vice President for Marketing, Sherwin Chua Lim. The Honda Accord and Honda City won 4 awards at the ASEAN New Car Assessment Program, or NCAP Grand Prix Awards 2020. The 10th generation Honda Accord won 3 awards in the Best Safety Performance Overall Award for getting highest score in the assessment for adult occupant protection and for child occupant protection. The 5th generation Honda City received the ASEAN NCAP Excellence Award Consistent 5-Star citation for attaining a 5-star safety rating in 3 successive generations. Following its ASEAN debut, first in Thailand in 2019, the 10th generation Accord has won several awards in various countries, including Best Safety Features, Mid-Size Sedan category at our very own Autofocus People's and Media's Choice Awards 2020, Best Mid-Size Sedan under 2000cc at the Car of the Year 2019 in Thailand, and Executive Sedan of the Year at the Carlist.my People's Choice Award 2019 in Malaysia. Honda said the latest awards for the Accord and the City emphasized a strong commitment to safety and its vision to realize a collision-free mobile society.
Motoring Today now brings you our Car of the Week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. The Toyota Vios, proudly made in the Philippines, is the country's best-selling passenger car. This edition of Showcase takes a look at the top-of-the-line variant of the latest iteration of the Vios the 1.5G CVT.
Toyota Motor Philippines unveiled the latest update of its best-selling subcompact passenger car, the Vios, back in the middle of 2020, among the first vehicles to be launched digitally amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The latest makeover of the Vios emphasized the low and wide stance of the four-door, five-seater sedan that stands 4,425mm long, 1,730mm wide, and 1,475mm tall, and with a 2,550mm wheelbase. The new look of Vios is an eye-catcher with its glossy black front grille flanked by faux side air ducts housing the round LED faux lamps. The top-of-the-line variant, the 1.5G CVT, gets 3-tiered LED headlamps with LED daytime running lights with line guide, LED rear combination lamps, color-keyed power retractable side view mirrors with integrated turn signal lights, chrome grip-type outside door handles, sporty 16-inch alloy wheels, and fin-type antenna. Getting into the G variant is quite easy and convenient with the smart entry system. The cozy interior is made more comfortable with the flat floor in the rear providing lots of legroom. The ergonomic dash features soft and elegant-looking materials and a sporty multi-information instrument panel. The leather upholstered steering wheel comes with controls for the audio system. The 7-inch touchscreen display for the entertainment system sits atop the large vents for the automatic air conditioning system. The infotainment system plays CDs and MP3 through 6 speakers and comes with a web link for iOS and Android devices with Bluetooth, USB, and aux connectivity. The G variant also comes with speed-setting power door locks and power windows. A push of the button starts the 1,496cc 4-cylinder 16-valve double overhead cam engine with dual VVTi and electronic fuel injection on the G variant. The engine generates 107 PS at 6,000 revolutions per minute and an impressive 140 Nm of torque that maxes out at 4,200 RPM. The G variant comes with either a 5-speed manual transmission or continuous variable transmission or CVT. The Vios 1.5G CVT gives a lot of added options to drivers as it comes with eco and sport drive modes, as well as paddles behind the steering wheel for the sequential shifter. With either MT or CVT, the G variant of the Vios is a fun, comfortable, and safe drive, especially with driver assist technologies that include vehicle stability control, hill start assist, which is great for steep inclines, an anti-lock brake system with electronic brake force distribution. Adding to the convenience of driving the G variant is the back monitor that facilitates safe parking in tight spaces. The G variant also comes with dual airbags for driver and front passenger seat, side airbags plus a credit shield, and knee protector for the driver. All of the new Vios variants also comes with 3-point ELR seatbelts with pre-tensioner and force limiter with drive and front seat passenger, 3-point seatbelts for each of the 3 passengers in the rear, child lock protection, and high mount stop lamp. The G variants also feature the Toyota Vehicle Security System with alarm and immobilizer.
During the launch of the latest Vios iteration, Toyota said that with all the improvements in features, technologies, and overall driving and riding experience, the Vios remains to be a practical and smart choice for individuals looking for a reliable daily driver that's easy to own, use, and maintain. It's hard to argue that. That's our featured vehicle on this week's showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
Seven-seater in style.
We now have our segment that dwells on the wide array of motoring problems, not only in the metro, but all over the country as well. This is where we present problems referred to us, or we ourselves see and hope to fully find solutions for. Here's our public service segment, brought to you by Honda Cars Philippines.
We have been reporting about the progress and updates on the projects of the Philippine National Railways, and while majority of the reactions are positive, there are still some who comment about things that are at fault and in need of improvement. According to one of our viewers online, the PNR should work on clearing and removing all kinds of obstructions along its line. These include, among others, illegal structures, garbage, and even dwellers. Others also commented that those areas with long grasses should be cleaned and cut, and informal settlers should be relocated. These suggestions all boil down to the commuters saying that the PNR modernization will make more sense if the areas along the rail line are clean and pleasing to the eyes, and not just the improvement of the trains. We shall be asking PNR officials regarding their efforts and plans to solve this.
That's our public service segment from Honda Cars Philippines. And should you encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on your screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on social media.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now in its 34th year of continuing service to the general motoring public, with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. Stay healthy and be vigilant at all times. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Happy motoring!